Good morning and welcome to the Delco Show. This is Tori Fiore, Executive Director of Delaware County's Brandywine Conference and Visitors Bureau, and you are listening to the Delco Show brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce right here on iRadio Philly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting from Headroom. Headroom is a fascinating concept right at the corner of Veterans Square and State Street in downtown, beautiful downtown Media. That is office space that you can rent by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the year, anytime you want at very reasonable rates. They've done a great job. It's beautifully decorated. They've done any size room you want, conference room, the latest technologies in these rooms, whiteboard, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's just a great place, a fun place, and a very effective and cost-effective place. And the wonderful Katie out front, who we just had to negotiate, right, Stephen E. Kessler, a lunch deal with, because she loves Primo Hoagies, who are our lunch sponsors every week here on the Delco Show. So a little shout out and yell to Primo Hoagies and thank you. So keep bringing the 3 hoagies, because now Katie negotiated a hoagie for herself. So thank you, Primo. Thank you, Headroom, Veterans Square and State Street, and Primo's on Baltimore Pike in beautiful downtown Media. It's our pleasure today to be speaking with a bon vivant man around town, a man who thinks highly of himself, not to say that the rest of the people don't either, but we're going to be speaking with JB Braun, who's the publisher for Mainline Today magazine. JB, good morning and welcome to the Delco Show.
Good morning, Tori. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. You're looking rather spiffy today. I would almost say with that coiffed hair, John Gotti-ish.
Just trying to keep up with you, sir.
You know what? I love it when you lie like that. Love it when you lie like that. So, JB, I know you've done this program before. You have been the publisher at Mainline for how long now?
4 years.
4 years. And where did you come from? How did you end up in Delaware County?
Never left. Been Delaware County boy, Delco boy for my entire 55 years on the planet.
So you're a Delco guy.
I'm a Delco guy.
From where from originally?
Springfield, Delaware County.
God bless you, my friend.
And I make no bones about it. I don't try to hide the fact that I'm not a mainliner. I tell everybody I'm a Delco boy.
Hey, how do you know? I saw something this morning. How do you know you're in Delaware County, JB?
I'm afraid to answer that question.
I'm going to tell you, JB. I told Stephen E. Kessler, I'm going into work this morning, and as you know, that the Brandywine Conference and Visitors Bureau, our offices are the beautifully renovated Rose Tree Tavern in Rose Tree Park. So I drive past the courthouse and the Government Center building and the Domestic Relations office. Here's how you know you're in Delaware County. I saw at 9 o'clock this morning, coming out of Domestic Relations, 39 degrees out at that time in the morning because I looked at my temperature in the car, and here comes an Italian guy walking out of Domestic Relations with a pair of sweatpants and a guinea tea wife-beater shirt on.
Well, welcome to Delco.
You are in Delaware County, folks. I was just fascinated and mesmerized. I'm thinking of taking a picture of him the next time and using it as our logo because it was a fascinating concept. I went, it's 39 degrees out. What are you thinking?
Well, for every one of him, we have to do our job and make sure we dress the part.
This is why we're spiffy and Natalie attired, to say the least, indeed.
There you go.
Yes, without a doubt. Moving right along, JB. A Springfield guy, where'd you go to high school?
I'm a Bonner guy. Then I went to Villanova, and I worked at the Philadelphia Inquirer for 20 years after I graduated. And then,
from Villanova, what'd you graduate with?
Believe it or not, I was a computer science major.
How the hell do you go from computer science to publishing?
Well, back in the day, the folks at the Philadelphia Inquirer were going from hot type, as it were, to cold type, and I was fascinated by the process. Had the opportunity to work down there, and I just ended up making a career out of it. Spent 20 years in just about every single division that the Inquirer and Daily News had. Left to go to the magazine business, Prime Media magazine company out of New York. Left that after 3 years, ended up working for the Gannett Corporation, which publishes USA Today.
Know them, yep.
And then I had the great opportunity to hitch wagons with Rob Martinelli, who owns the Today Media Company, which is Delaware Today, Mainline Today, Westchester Magazine up in the affluent suburbs of New York.
Media Today.
Media 2 Communications.
Media 2 Communications.
Which you're familiar with. We've partnered with you on some of your projects.
Sure.
So,
well, you produce our visitors guide.
Yes. So Rob had an opportunity that was, I dare say this is the shortest drive I've ever had to work. 9 minutes every day to and from the office.
Where do you live now?
Still in Springfield. Just not in my mom and dad's house. I'm living in my own house.
Isn't that a treat? And again, it's that people think it's an old, it's an old wives' tale or whatever the case may be. You're in Delco. You don't leave Delco.
Really hard. I have 4 brothers. We're all still pretty much part of the community. So.
Yeah, and if you go out of Delaware County, it's kind of like the old Salem cigarette commercial. I think you can take the boy out of Delaware County, but you can't take the Delaware County out of the boy.
That's true. That's very much true.
And we all love it for a lot of different reasons because it's a very eclectic, very different, very unique county in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania amongst the 67 counties.
I couldn't agree more.
We happen a tendency to have a different parade to our own drumbeat.
True that.
Anyway, so you've been with the Mainline Today for 4 years, but you're coming up with celebrating your 20th anniversary.
Right. So April of 2016, and it sounds like it's so far away, but it really isn't in the magazine world because we're always pretty much a month and a half to 2 months out as we put together our product. So we've already laid the groundwork for an event to celebrate our 20th anniversary, which again will be April 2016, with a special commemorative issue. The April issue of 2016, as well as an event that I'm announcing for the very first time on this show, the Mainline Today Cares Awards. We're going to be partnering with a local venue to celebrate 20 individuals from the Mainline, including Delaware County, who have made a substantial contribution to the greater good. And we're going to do a full editorial feature on those folks, celebrate their success, and then create, hopefully, a scholarship fund based on the act of getting involved in both Delaware County, Chester County, Montgomery County, the 3 counties we serve with Mainline Today.
Well, and some people may think that April of 2016 is a long way away. When you're creating an event for the first time, you never have enough time.
Just completely
I've
true.
been there, done
completely
that.
True.
You never have enough time.
Yeah, and events take a lot of the wind out of your sails. That you really do. It's a team effort, and a small organization like ours, you need to make sure you have all hands on deck planning it. So, in August of this year, the nomination ballots will go out for soliciting nominees for the 20 folks that have given a great amount of their time, their energy. Not necessarily their money, but their effort to the communities, and we're going to feature them in the April issue. So we're excited about it.
Well, now, would those folks, and I think that's a great idea, doing 20 for 20 years, would those folks have been over that period of time in the issue of Mainline, in an issue of Mainline Today?
They could very well be.
Or they could just some be out of...
No, they could very well be. I mean, we celebrate throughout the course of the year. There's top doctors, top dentists, top lawyers. There's our best of the Mainline. But we also do a Power Women issue that comes out every October that features 24 women who have made sizable contributions in both the not-for-profit world and the for-profit world. And what's great about that issue is it celebrates their body of work. It's very regularly women who have made substantial contributions in their own fields, and so there isn't any reason to believe that one or two of the nominees couldn't come from that group.
Yeah, we've just done over at the Visitors Bureau. We've just done. I call it a blog. Some people call it a website. I don't really care what the hell it's called, but we came upon something unique with George Rothacker, who has an advertising agency, and he's an artist, primarily, but he has an advertising agency. He does a lot of work with us, and we have come across right now, and it's the blog with, and it's basically Delaware County Portraits. .com. You can just Google or whatever, and it's caricature pictures of 50 of the most prominent people that have ever come out of Delaware County that are notables, if you will.
Sure.
And it's fascinating to see, JB, that, and it's an education in itself, that we've had astronauts come from here, poets come from here, artists like Wyeth come from here. Of course, the entertainment field, Tina Fey. We've got Peter Nero, Wanda Sykes living right here in media.
Wanda Sykes has been approached as a possible cover story for us in the July issue. So.
There you go. So, you realize that for such a small county, the number of people that have come out of here that are of noteworthy, particulars, and you go, wow, and we're still growing as we increase it. We're asking people to send us nominations, and we kind of vote. And so you got a hell of a lot of people to pick from, my friend.
Oh, we're
it's
happy
not going to be easy.
And what's great about it, Tori, is it's not a one and done. Most folks have an anniversary of some sort, 5-year, 10-year, 15. What's great about this is we'll be celebrating 20 for 20 when we turn 20 next year, but there's no reason to believe that Mainline Today Cares can't be an annual awards program that funds a scholarship. So
21 for 21, 22 for 22, da-da-da-da-da. You'll never, I guess what I'm saying by talking about that blog, you'll never run out of people in Delaware County to honor.
We like to think so.
You got that many of them. So, having said that, we've always done something, and you've done the same thing over at the Drexelbrook every year. We used to do the tasting tour of the countryside, which we stopped about 3 years ago because when we started to weigh the dollars and cent value to it, we said, okay, it's time for a break because it was a hell of a party.
Oh, and a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work, and you look at the return and you're asking that question. So we put a kind of a break to it. We're coming up with something new come September, but you guys have been doing the best of the main line for how long now?
Oh, this will be our 19th year, coming up in July.
Okay, you're right, bang, yeah.
It's a huge event for us. I dare say it's our biggest. We have our Healthcare Heroes events, which happens in May. We have our July Best of the Main Line. September, we have our Food and Wine Affair at the Desmond Hotel, which is huge. Brings close to 1,500 folks in, and that's a partnership with the Pennsylvania Wine and Spirits folks.
Wine Associate, yeah.
So that's a great event. And then we wrap it up in October with our Women on a Move, which is hosted by NBC 10 and Tracy Davidson. So of those events, the Best of the Mainline Party, which happens in July, as you mentioned it, Drexelbrook is our biggest event.
Yeah, and that's July 23rd, 2015 at the Drexelbrook. Tickets and information, excuse me, go to bestofmainline.com. We're speaking with JB Braun, who's the publisher for Mainline Today. And how many Best of Mainline categories are there? I mean, I go every year, and it looks like it gets bigger every year.
Great question, Tori. One of the things we did a couple of years ago was we decided, why are we limiting ourselves to just one Best of the Mainline for, let's just say, pizza? When there's a best pizza place in Devon and a best pizza place in Media and a best pizza place in Wayne.
I'm giving you my vote for Apollo's in Media right now.
There you go. So
jot it down.
One of the things we did 3 years ago was we decided to break it up by town, and that made a huge difference in the number of participating vendors that we had, but more importantly, the amount of folks who came to support the good cause. Devereaux, the Devereaux Foundation is our charity affiliate, and the people come out of the woodwork to support the Best of the Mainline event because good food, good time, good music with Jelly Roll, and the proceeds help benefit Devereaux.
Yeah, and we're going to get back to that when we come back after break, because I want to talk about, every area has a best of. Ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with JB Braun, who's the publisher of Mainline Today magazine. You can check out information on it by going to bestofmainline.com or give them a call at 610-325-4630. That's not only for tickets, you can get sponsorships there. It's available. So, you're listening to the Delco Show on iRadio Philly, brought to you by the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce And we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Delco Show. I'm Tori Fiore, and we are with JB Braun, who's the publisher for Mainline Today magazine, mainlinetoday.com. You can give him a call at 610-325-4630. We are broadcasting from the headroom right here in beautiful downtown Media at the corner intersection of State Street and Veterans Square. And our lunch today is provided by Primo Hoagies on Baltimore Pike, kind of across from the post office, down from the Wawa. It's kind of like in that vicinity there. But boy, every type of hoagie you want, it's absolutely terrific. So thank you, Headroom, and thank you, Primo Hoagies. JB, I want to go back to what we were talking about expanding the best of to include, to go with areas now. Because as you so aptly put it, there's areas that have the best this, the best that. It depends on, who's doing the voting and all that, and everything. And we talked about the uniqueness of Delaware County itself in the 67 counties in Pennsylvania. Well, you have 49 municipalities or boroughs or towns or whatever the hell you want to call them in Delaware County. And each of them are unique unto themselves. And the residents that live in those little municipalities, it's God's little green acre to them. Leave us alone. We're very happy the way we are. We don't need you, such and such a borough township. We don't need you, da-da-da. We'll do it ourselves. So, it's really unique when you see that, and everybody has their favorites, and they're mainly local.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we go from Bala to Exton, and then obviously step down. That's all along Route 30. We include Route 3 and Route 1. And so when we did that, we popped in and made a bunch of different towns part of our expanding main line, including the aspirational main line, and that has really doubled our footprint as far as the event and as far as the participation of the vendors. So it's been a big hit.
Yeah, so it's just fascinating to see the growth of that. And it is a great time. The food's fantastic, and it's a variety of different, product that is there. It's one of those unique events like the Taste used to be.
Yep, very much so.
It's one of those unique events that people don't want to miss.
And even more so, last 2 years ago, we added a VIP room, which is the end all be all. Now, folks want. Dominic gave us another part of the building. Dominic, I'm speaking of Dominic Savino of Drexelbrook, gave us another part of the Drexelbrook building, and we now have that as our VIP room, which requires a special pass to get into. And most folks want to know, how do you get the VIP ticket?
I've never gotten that special pass. I just want to let you know that.
Well, I'll put a call into a guy that works over there, and maybe we can fix that problem.
Yeah, and I can call him direct. I have him on speed dial, JB. So Dominic is a great guy. Does great work for his clients. I mean, he's just wonderful. And as I said, that it's always the best of the main line's a great event. And speaking of the main line, you tell me, you say to me that you moved. Now, hold on. Moving to me is putting stuff in a truck and driving X amount of miles to go to your end destination. I don't believe it's actually called moving. I may be stretching it, calling relocation, when you can pick up your chair in your office and walk it over to where your new digs are. So don't tell me you moved. Just tell me, you can laugh. Go ahead. And you're allowed to cough and laugh, okay? Go ahead. Because I find it funny. What do you call that?
I will tell you, the work that goes into it makes it a move. Because even if it is 500 yards, which basically we meant from the back.
Oh, tell it to the Marines.
We basically went from the back of our office community to the front. We now face Westchester Pike. And we have frontage, we have signage, we have a brand new footprint, a smaller
JB,
carbon footprint.
Just stop.
Very good.
Just stop, okay? My wife and I moved in 1990, okay? 5 minutes away from our old house. I don't call it a move. I don't call it a relocation. I call it an expansion. So, you had an expansion.
We had an expansion, and it was
it's a 500-yard expansion.
And the office warming party, which was April 20th. It's just a great time to open the doors to all of our friends of the magazine. So we're excited that we had the opportunity to do that.
And I looked forward to it, and I had a great time there. It was a pleasure to see. And you've got, what you've got there is visibility now. You've got that face right there on Westchester Pike that shows who you are. You've got signage up before, and I tease about, the expansion and everything. Not really. That you were in the back of that whole complex, and you sometimes didn't know where the hell you were.
Yeah, it was made a huge difference moving to the front of the complex with the signage and facing Westchester Pike. We've had walk-in traffic. We've had folks who have been doing business with us for almost 19 years who didn't know that we were as close as we are, and it has actually brought us new business, which is a great thing for the magazine, but it's also a great thing for Delaware County. We chose to stay in Delaware County. I think the Chamber's happy about that, and I'd like to think our whole team was happy that they didn't really have to uproot and move.
Yeah, no, they didn't, and it's because you get in a comfort zone. You're used to driving, to there, and now you're going to drive to somewhere else. Your drive time changes. When we moved 4 years ago, we got closer for 5 out of our 7 people on staff. For the other 2, we got further away, and they're not happy campers.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I really can. So we've made quite a few folks happy, and I think it's been a win-win for everybody. And like I said, the office warming on April 20th was a huge success, and it was just great to see so many folks who enjoy reading the magazine come and visit us that day.
Yeah, well, we get a copy in the office, all the time, and it's always, there's always, at least for me, one article that I find I read them all, but there's one article that I find interesting and becomes pertinent for me, even though I read the rest of them. It's kind of like Playboy, where I only get it for the stories. Okay, I don't get Playboy. I don't want to let JB. I don't get it. I don't get. Yeah, I do not get that magazine. All right.
Well,
anyway.
I'm glad you're finding something of interest. We do try to appeal to a wide array of folks, and it's simply stated: Hobart Rowland, Melissa Jacobs, Tara Bean, Danielle Bouchat Friedman, who's our newest editor. They do a great job at pulling together a great storyline each issue for us, and we just couldn't be happier than having the editorial team that we've got.
Yeah,
talented group.
So tell me now. What does a publisher do? Publisher. That's like Grand Poobah. That's like Shah.
The
Czar.
The easiest way to do it is all the problems are mine. All the challenges are mine. I'm
a publisher.
All the fixes are mine. Making sure that the circulation team's happy, the sales team's happy, the editorial team's happy. Right across the board, the creative team is happy. And trying to pull together 12 issues that appeal to you and to all of our readers is the challenge. But I'll tell you, it's we've been preaching it for the last 4 years. It's not surgery. Nobody dies on the table if we don't get it.
Yeah.
Just so. And so that mentality, making it fun again, for the 4 years that we've been working together as a team, the magazine has grown substantially, both in circulation and in size. But people are having fun putting it together, and that's the key. But to answer you quite simply, I get to be the parent in the room, and when there's a decision to be made about what goes on the cover or what doesn't go on the cover, I get to have the final vote. So
yeah, I always thought that I got to have the final vote too, and now it's becoming a little more difficult. Every issue that we put out of the Brandywine Conference and Visitors Bureau's Brandywine Country, but now we're going to rectify that that situation too. Sometimes I'm willing to acquiesce, with my better judgment. In fact, there was one particular cover piece that our VP of marketing loved the picture, and a couple of our board members saw it when it came out, and I was ambivalent about the whole thing, and it looked like a Taliban that was attacking a sheep, and that was the impression that they got out of it. Whereas it was a reenactor from the colonial plantation dressed in that outfit that was shearing a sheep. So,
Okay, all right. I'm thinking you should have taken control of that cover.
Yes, I did. Yes, in hindsight, that would have been a better idea. And saying, no, that's not going to work, and let me tell you why. Okay,
Well, then the struggles I face. So.
Oh yeah, well, JB, we have, as you're well aware, that we have Pope Francis coming.
Big deal for the community and across the board.
Yes, very, very, very large deal. And I was once I knew this, and this was last year. When you start this, and I called up George Rothker again, and I said, George, I'm on the plane. I have a vision of an ad, and this is what I want to see. And he goes, you're nuts. You're out of your mind. You're sick. I said, George, it works, doesn't it? He goes, funny part about it is, yeah, it works. It's right on that edge tour, but it works. And here's what the ad was. Is it less expensive to stay in Delaware County during the visit of Pope Francis? And I have the picture of the back of the Pope with a pen in hand, with the signet ring, signing into a hotel. And underneath it, in banner letters, is the Pope Catholic? Now, we all thought it was funny.
I think it's funny.
Right. We had some people that said, no, you don't understand. And I went,
well, they're not from Delco.
Okay.
His arrival's a huge deal, and I know it's going to be a spike for the hotels out here. I even know the president of the Delaware Hotel Association, and some folks down in Delaware are going to see an uptick in
This is going to make the Democratic Convention in 2016 look like amateur hour with the number of people that are coming in here. It's amazing. Huge, it's absolutely amazing.
Huge. And I hope the restaurants see a lift. I hope everybody gets a piece of the action.
You're going to see. Trust me, you're going to see a lot of it. I mean, the little bits of information and everything here. Do you know that over 72, I think the number is? Yeah, over 72% of the residents of Delaware County are Catholic.
They're going to be quite interested in taking a front row seat with the 2 million people that are supposed to be on hand.
Oh yeah,
when he visits. 2 million people coming to see the Pope in the Philadelphia area, and I think they said there's only 11,000 hotel rooms in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that means there'll be some folks staying out here,
which kind of makes, I think the total is 13,000 in the 5-county area. So you got people in homes and everything like that. So the 72% of the people are Catholic that live in Delaware County. St. Thomas the Apostle, which is out in that Glen Mills area, Concord area, is the oldest parish in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Delaware County itself has 48 parishes. We're big, and he's a rock star.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a big day.
Pope Frank is a rock star. So, well, again, you guys have had a great run for 20 years, JB. It's fascinating to see how this has grown. How much is how many circulation?
25,200 home delivered and single copy sales combined. Magazines read by nearly 200,000 people every month. So we've been quite pleased with the growth of the magazine.
Yeah, and it's issued how often? Once a month.
Once a month, and the best of issue is the July issue, which you're not going to want to miss. It's what we like to call the coffee table keeper. People like to keep it on their coffee table all year long.
Do I get a hint?
Well, it's just going to be the best of issue, so you're going to want to keep it on your coffee table.
Now you've got my interest piqued. Ladies and gentlemen, JB Braun, publisher, Mainline Today. JB, thank you very much for being with us on the Delco Show.
Thanks for having me, Tori.
No, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. You're a lot of fun to talk to and very easy on the eyes, big boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tori Fiore. You've been listening to the Delco Show, brought to you by the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce on Radio Philly. Thanks for being with us. We will see you and talk to you next week.